So in 2017, we bought this property here in Missouri. We saw a lot of potential in this place, but it was a visionary thing because it was a mess. The property was overgrown. There were mosquitoes biting us continually that first day when we got here. Trash, literally trash everywhere. Down in the woods, trash. And the very front of the property was this old falling down house.
It's coming down. Whoa. Careful, no one's underneath. Otis, come.
So after kind of piecing the story together with the different neighbors and the bank or whatnot, so it looked like the house had been abandoned for about 3 to 4 years. And so the family had pulled out. There was like a death in the family, and then maintenance just didn't get done, and then I guess they stopped paying on it and it went back to the bank. And so they came in and winterized it, and that was it. And I think they maybe attempted to put some tarps on it, on the roof, because there was some leaks.
Right, so not only was it sitting vacant for several years, but it had roof damage on top of it. So by the time we came along, it was pretty much a condemned house.
It was definitely not worth getting into.
That's a perfect slide. Slide down there.
Bring it down the roof. I gotta raise the roof, isn't that what they say?
Dude, let's put it up there.
Don't do that. No, that's for dirt bikes.
Hey, Paul. See them going up over the house.
You guys probably would.
So right off the bat, we knew that we weren't going to restore this house. We were never going to live in it, but it just sort of sat here. It's been sitting here since then. So we moved here in 2018, I guess.
Correct. February.
And it's
February.
just been sitting there an eyesore ever since. Right outside of the building that we turned into a tiny house to live in has been this house. And we've always gone back and forth with when should we tear it down? Because we knew it was going to be a job.
Right.
And was that a good use of our time? Well, Jason's friend Joe came over about a month ago, and he really pushed us and said, why not just tear it down? It might give you a better understanding of where exactly you want to put the house that we have building plans for. We shared with family and friends and on this channel here that we were going to start tearing down the house on Saturday, and it was so incredible. Of course, we have amazing friends and family. We've known that all along. And a group of them turned out on Saturday to help the phase 1 of tearing the house down.
Pick it up. Pick it up. All right, we talked about it. Okay. Oh! Like all of the nails all at once. Well,
This is a grandma who gets things done.
I still in the middle of the teardown. I'm like exhausted by all of this. Honestly, it has been a very emotional season. There's just a lot going on in our lives, and the house teardown has kind of just added to that amount of stuff that needs to be done. And you know, and just getting reminders, texts, encouragement, advice from people, and you know, there's a temptation. I just be straightforward here. There's a lot of temptation for me to feel like I've done wrong, or didn't do it right, or didn't do it efficiently enough, or could have done it better, or should have done it this way. And so it's like I'm just getting done whatever I can get done. And by the grace of God and by some amazing friends, we've gotten as far as we have.
That's a big whoop when you need it. All right, you ready?
Oh man, this
Not going down.
this house is like, nope,
I am not going.
we're not. I refuse to be torn down. So this little section of the house is actually separate from the main one where the people are sitting up there. That's one structure that they're sitting on. And then this was a little addition that was stuck on the side of that big house.
Okay, it's on that other one.
It's like you're gonna have to pull that thing
Hold
out.
on. Oh my goodness. That's not looking good, Joe. You got a full wall over here? Yeah. Let's go in. Let me, hey, this will go. Okay. You ready? Yeah. I'm gonna do it. It's all hung up. You're on the other roof. You're kind of framed here. Some of those boards back there are still good. Okay.
I
don't got it.
No, it's a painful coming down.
Kick it in, right?
We're all waiting for the moment that's not coming.
Again, like I said, there's plenty of different ways that we could have gone about doing what we did. What seemed to make the most sense was go after the part that was the most rotten and closest to the ground.
The house was kind of like a 1.5 story, but then it had this extra addition lumped on the side that was just separate. It was just stuck on the house there.
Right.
It had, that part had a concrete floor, which the rest of the house doesn't.
Right.
And so they decided, you know what, we're gonna start here board by board. We're just gonna start pulling that roof down. In my mind, I'm thinking, this thing's barely on anyway. You could see the rot. I just thought a couple whacks of the hammer and it was gonna fall down. You know, that was my perspective. No.
No.
It just hung on.
Yeah. I mean, I think I said it, I say it later on in the video, but people just don't understand how well things are held together, how well these nails hold together. I don't even know, way thicker than 16 penny. I don't even know my nails by names, but they're framing nails that are just, they don't make them, you know, like they used to.
Yeah.
And everybody's like, oh, get back, it's gonna fall. And I'm like, no.
There was a row of people watching and waiting, holding their phones for some exciting fall down, and it would be like, here it goes. Oh, never mind. Okay, try again. Oh, here it goes. Oh, okay, half of it falls down. It was kind of anticlimactic.
That's all you got. Yeah, that's all you got.
What is it holding on? Yay! Yay, victory!
There's a lot more holding it up than people understand. You know? I mean, I've seen stuff that was very poorly built hold on to the very last. Not to mention things that were mildly done well. So yes, that's my take on it. Get a couple other witnesses. It was good.
It was good.
Good.
It was exciting in the end.
Yeah, was it worth the trip out? Yeah. Worth the price of admission.
We are working on laying out the food. Okay, so my sister sent over her famous coleslaw, which is so good. And we have veggies and chips. Grandma made my favorite yakisoba. Thank you, Grandma.
You're welcome.
And she makes it with the gluten-free ramen noodles from Costco. Yum, these are gluten-free also. Somebody brought these because they said they were addicted to it. Hot dogs, sloppy joes. This is the buns, and I also made sourdough buns as well.
Okay.
Come here.
His gloves are adorable. Aren't they cute? James, show me your gloves. Just your size. Where's gloves? You're a good helper.
It's a little less fun than it was when we started. Yeah. You got a full belly now, so it's harder to muster some energy.
Good for lunch.
We did. Lots of compliments on the food. Thank you.
That's good.
We're getting there, so I think we're gonna get this down, and then do you think we'll take any more roof down today, Joe? I don't, probably not. Yeah, I think we're just gonna kind of shift to get it to the bones. Yeah.
Cleaning up what's down so far.
That's right.
So we had so many people that you know, we couldn't all be in one spot. So we had people working on the inside, which were far away from where we were doing it, because we needed to remove the drywall, the 1x material, which is 3/4 inch by whatever width or whatever, pine, and then I mean, there was a couple guys. That's all they did the whole time we were tearing half the house down. And there was, I think, 3 guys doing that. It was Greg, Nate, and Spencer.
Yeah.
So, you know, there was several different, we had a guy on the roof taking off shingles, and, you know, some kids helping as well. There was a lot going on.
Everybody helped, because once material started coming down, it was separated into burnable things or dumpster items. The
Or
wood,
saved.
because, yeah, there was very little to save because the wood was
Either rotten or full of nails, and not opposed to pulling nails. I just kind of had that beat out of me lately, where I've just don't need another labor-intensive project.
So we burned what we could,
We did.
and we did rent a dumpster, which is almost full already.
Right. It was really awesome to watch how you didn't need to ask people to do things. I mean, you could direct them, you know, like that was kind of my job, was the ringleader, if you will, and making sure everybody had what they need to do what they were doing, you know, or if they had questions about it. But ultimately, once they saw the work kind of unfolding, everybody just jumped in. You know, it was pretty awesome.
Up on the roof is our friend Luke.
He's been working hard up there.
Working hard.
Him and his boys.
Uncle Rick. We have been shoveling, and it's looking incredible on this half. I didn't introduce YouTube to the famous Nate.
That's right. My good buddy Nate. My trail life buddy.
Actually, Nate watches our channel.
He does. That's how he found out about today. He's like, I didn't know you told Nate. And I'm like, I didn't.
He heard it like the rest of the world.
Heard it through the grapevine.
They are making such good progress. This whole section is down and cleaned up. And it looks like they're starting on the second section. I need to get an update. I've just been shoveling. That's been my... Yes, you may. A friend brought these things and Silas is enjoying them. What are they? Turn around so everybody can see. Everybody gets one. So it's happening. We were a little slow to get started again after lunch because their bellies are so full. These guys are faithfully working in here. This is Nate and Spencer.
Howdy.
And they all know you probably, Greg. So Spencer drove here from Tennessee because he's just that amazing.
What's that?
You guys are that amazing. You drove all the way up here to help us. That's just
you guys are fun.
Awesome.
Good times.
So awesome. I know. I was like, I have a new friend with your wife. She's just sweet as can be. This is the crew in the house here.
This is mine.
Well,
Don't
you
think
guys, no, you're just taking a break, right?
This is mine.
The kids
It's mine.
and my new friend Jessica.
So you can't shoot it.
So
It's
fun.
mine.
You think nothing happened?
This should collapse, right, Monty?
Yes. Oh, no, down the roof.
Oh, the electrical wires hold it.
Again?
Yes, he is. He's gonna give me a heart attack like I don't have enough on my mind. Jason.
Sorry, we should have finished
I'm gonna bop him. I'm gonna bop him.
We basically worked until we couldn't work anymore. I mean, Luke stayed to the very, very end.
He did.
Yeah, and he's like, "Hey, the flyer said dusk." He stayed past that. So we worked until it just didn't make sense to dive in anymore. You know, so we got not only did we get the 2 sections knocked down, we got it cleaned up as well. So which was really amazing for us because then Sunday we were able to enjoy the concrete pad space as a family with breakfast and lunch and dinner too.
Soccer games. I mean, we just lived it up on Sunday on that concrete pad that was left over where a house had once stood, or part of it.
Which is kind of fun because like when we looked at the side, to me it kind of reminded me of Sicily, the way that they had different structures and built, and like you'd have almost like a courtyard area in the middle of the buildings and such. So it was pretty cool.
And that's the one thing that we've kind of missed since we left the city. There's no pavement here at all. And our kids have missed rollerblading and just being able to ride a tricycle around on pavement. These are things we don't have out here.
Right. Yeah.
So we paused and we put out a plea again. If anybody else wants to come back or come again.
We didn't beg anybody. Plead though.
We didn't beg. We just put it out there, and we're putting it out there again. So next Saturday, part 2.
So
the second
just
half
in case
of the house.
somebody jumps in and gets all excited, what date is that? That's March 29th.
Is it?
I believe so.
The last Saturday of March. I can't keep track.
2022.
Yeah, so what are we going to do? The second half of the house.
Knock it down.
Do you feel like you might go about anything differently for this half of the house? This is the part that has a 2-story portion. It's the original structure.
It's a little bit more dangerous to just go after. You have more leverage for things to come faster, quicker. But it's also better built. So we have oak timbers in the original 1-room lofty type building here. So that'll be interesting. I think I have to separate the fireplace because currently that's housing our tower for our internet.
So we're going to try to temporarily leave the fireplace. We're not going to keep it long term. We've been advised against that, and we feel like it's wise.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense to change our whole plans just to fit it in.
Plus, it's not supported structurally. We'd have to do a lot of work to it to make it fit.
And there's a crack on the outside now, so I feel a lot better about it. I'm like,
yeah, there you go.
Let it go.
Okay, but so we're gonna have to temporarily.
So I have to remove. Right, I have to remove it and support it enough to where it won't.
Yeah, that stinks.
Come down. So I have a neighbor who has offered to come in and kind of drop it in place a little bit before our crew comes out. It's a consideration, a serious consideration.
He has a tractor.
Right. He's got methods. He's a very wise man.
Did he recommend chains?
He's got a cable. So basically, with some ferrule or loops on the end, where you basically run the one loop through it and you choke it around the wall of studs or the 2x4s that are that are behind us there, and yank out one wall at a time. And as it's dropping, his thoughts is that the building will just kind of do one of these things and fold over and pivot. I believe it's possible that could happen. It's really hard to understand, have a real good grasp of how a structure is going to react. It's kind of like felling a tree. It's like, it looks like it should do this, and so you plan accordingly, and then you adjust as needed.
One thing that, so Jessica and Spencer watch our YouTube channel, and that's how they heard about tearing the house down. They live in Tennessee, and they drove up with their little ones from Tennessee so that they could help us out, which was such a huge blessing. And one thing that Jessica said when we were walking around is that she was surprised at how close everything was together, all the buildings, how close they were. Because she said from watching on the channel, it seemed like things were spaced a lot
Right.
farther
It's
apart.
probably hard to put it all together.
Yeah, right. Even though we've done some drone shots here and there, but everything just looks different on the camera than it does in actual life.
Right.
So that's something that we've had to consider, is that this house is pretty close to our tiny house. It's pretty close to the well, the everything.
Right,
you know,
right.
It's all here together.
So if I can talk my wife into it, I want to attach with at least a breezeway or a roof, the tiny house and the big house.
If we build right here in this spot, he's
this
thinking
spot.
to make a connection. Because
Correct.
the tiny house eventually will be a guest house.
Right.
So-
And there'll be no real reason for us to not connect them.
Yeah, we could think about that.
And, you know, I think it would be great to be able, you know, in bad weather to just go from one to the other, you know, especially. Yeah.
Guests don't have to go outside.
Right. So.
Yeah, but it's, again, you know, something to keep in mind as we think about how to take this main part down. You know, you also
Oh yeah, we
want to
can't
make sure.
just can't knock it down.
No,
you know,
somebody
we can't
suggested a
just do that.
bulldozer, but again, like the way it sits.
There's only one direction. Such a long story, but
Yeah.
one of the buildings, one of the additions needs to stay in place because of our electric for the farm.
Right.
Has been ran through that.
Yeah.
And actually, the electric for the whole
Right,
place
until
ever
they
always
come out.
right, not always, but since the past always, and we're trying to figure out how to move it in a way where we don't have to then move it again. So can we? And I don't think it can be done. I think we just have to move it
We're
and
going to
then
have
move
to
it
call
again.
them out twice.
Yes. And then I'm trying to figure out if I want to upgrade my electric service now, right when we do it.
Yeah.
And then if so, what are the acceptable things? They say they won't allow, you know, this or that or the other. So it's just a lot of rules.
You know, the first time they come, we could feed them hamburgers, and then maybe they'd be happier to
I
come
hope
out
we
the
get the
second
same
time.
gentleman we had, that Christian that has the ministry.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about him.
What
He
an
was
amazing
precious.
guy. Oh, yeah. Just
Do we get to pick our people when we call Amarin, or they just
no.
send who they want?
Yeah. Dispatch, but we pray.
Man, yeah, he was great.
He was.
We'll see. So, okay, we're going to keep you posted. I'm going to get the camera out again next Saturday, and maybe some of you would want to come and join us and be here. I don't know. But,
We feed well. Ask Spencer.
yeah, we do feed our help. It's the least we can do. And I hope it goes as smoothly as week 1. All right, so thanks for being here with us. Be sure to leave your comments below. I'm sure some of you have some thoughts. We don't mind reading your thoughts.
Just keep them respectful, please.
Of course.
Unless you want them deleted.
They're an awesome bunch, these people.
They are.
See you soon.
Bye, guys.